that's a good one. That's a good one. Oh, God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Yeah. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.
What is going on, One Cast fans? Welcome to the One Cast Fishing Friday Live. Glad to be back for another week in a row with all of us in the studio. Nobody had to go anywhere this week.
Had to go to work.
Well, yeah, I mean, nobody had to travel out of state. Yeah, we're probably going to see 20 century belts in the Elite Series.
Well, we won't see 20, but we'll see 10.
I don't know.
I'm going to say
it
6.
took 43 pounds to make the cut, and the top 28 have over 50 pounds. So
yeah, but only 10 fish the final day. So they're going to have to be dropping multiple 40-pound bags tomorrow for that.
Yeah.
For 20, they have 24 50-pound bags right now.
What up, Christine? What
Over
up,
2
Rusty?
days.
What up,
They
Nick?
still have 2 more. Oh, that's right. It goes to 10.
Pete and Ben are arguing.
I
so-
forgot about the 10 cut. That was
They cut the 10.
we're going to see 10. We're probably going to see 10.
I think the odds are we'll see 10.
We'll see
century.
10 century belts.
6.
I really
I
believe
call 6. I said it.
No, I think because I think the weather's warming up. I think we'll see 10.
it's everything's
6.5.
I think we're going to see 10. I really do. It's going to be exciting. It's fun to watch all those giants get caught and multiple 9 to 10 pounders. Before we go any further,
Speaking of 10,
make sure you head to onecastfishing.com. Use the code TheOneCast, save 10% off your snagless jigs, long neck hooks, weedless nets, all those soft plastics. When you're done there, head over to CarolinaWatersNC.com. Use the code TheOneCast. Get you some UPF gear, some hats, some shirts, whatever you need. They've got it. They've got some new stuff coming too. So super excited about that.
yeah,
And
wear
Go ahead.
your Carolina Waters apparel and carry a pocket full of jigs when you go buy that new piece of property from our buddy Eric Schwinn at MossyOakProperties.com. He's got you hooked up. If you're looking to get out of that concrete jungle, own your little piece of paradise, you can hit him up at 936-494-9686 or shoot him an email at eschwind, that's ESCHWIND, at MossyOakProperties.com. Eric will get you hooked up. He's got tons of land, homes, all that good stuff. So shoot him a message or give him a call or an email and let him know that the One Cast sent you.
Yeah. So that's why I like the MPFL better, because they don't cut the field. So everybody can get a century belt out there. But yeah, I don't know why I just completely forgot about that cut. So yeah, legitimately they might see 10. I mean, they're whacking them. Yeah. Maddie, friend of the show, some absolute giants, caught his PB on camera at 9.3. So congrats goes out to Maddie, sitting in second right now. Trey McKinney's whacking them, had 33-10 yesterday and 33-11
Yeah, it's
today.
unreal.
So just unbelievable. And then JT Tompkins wasn't as good yesterday, 20-some pound bag, and then went out and whacked a 30 sack today to put him into the top 10. Milliken's right there. I think he's sitting in 11th right now,
11th or 12th, yeah.
56 pounds or some stupid number. But 43 pounds. Imagine what did we say? It was 42.15, I think, to make the cut, was the last man in.
Yeah, it's
So
disgusting.
imagine catching 42.5, who was the first man out, and not making a top 50 cut in a tournament. It's tough. It reminds me of that tournament that Scott Martin, his daughter, fished that they posted about on.
I know,
Okeechobee last year, where
Okeechobee
they had
last
like 34 pounds and they finished 20th or something.
Yeah.
Only this is over multiple days.
It's like that. You're like going back to weigh in. You're like, man, we got a real good shot at this. And then you're like, bro, I'm not even in check range. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So catch 43 pounds and don't cash a check would be a bit upsetting, but I know everybody wants to talk forward facing sonar. We're not going to, because I'm tired of talking about it. But they're
I'm
catching
tired
them
of
a
hearing
bunch of
people talk
different
about it.
ways. I mean, we've seen guys sight fishing. We've seen guys throwing big baits, jerk baits, a few on the jig head minnow, but
Mhm.
guys doing a bunch of different, and it's just going to get shallower. Like, they've got a huge warming trend. It's supposed to be another hot sunny day tomorrow. Warm sunny day tomorrow, however you want to look at it. And it's going to keep getting better throughout the week. So I don't think the weights are going to fall off. Those big fish are going to keep pushing up. We might see more over 10s. I think 10 and some change. There were 2 10-pounders weighed yesterday.
Yeah.
There's a few folks think we might see that BASS all-time record of over 13 broke potentially on Lake Fork.
It's
So
possible.
It's showing out, man. The slot limit, I know a few of y'all messaged me asking about why they were catch weight release, if it had to do with the spawn or anything, but pretty cool. The only way they can fish Fork because of the spawn is to do that. So BASS went out there They talked about it. If you got to watch the live a little bit today, I didn't get to watch it, but I heard they talked about it, and they talked about how Bass figured out how they could do that. So I didn't see West go off, but it doesn't surprise me. We don't got to talk about it. What we do got to talk about was Trey McKinney breaking a jerkbait off on a 5-pound
Yeah, I saw
in
that.
its mouth, coming back an hour or so later and catching that fish on
Yeah.
the jerkbait.
Yep.
So that should tell you how those fish are feeding down there right now. And should tell you, like, pre-spawn, man, those fish, a lot of times you hook a fish and it's a kind of one and done deal, but pre-spawn, like there's Mike for sure. Pre-spawn, you can get those fish to bite, and then once they're on the bed, a lot of times you can catch them.
what's the
times?
I don't know why I can't find. I'm looking up the all-time tournament weight total. I think it's like 134 or 138 pounds.
I can't remember. It was when I think it was when Rojas had the 43-pound bag.
I know Greg Hackney
single
set
day
the record back in the day for a 3-day tournament, and he had over 100 pounds in a 3-day tournament. And I think that was on Falcon Lake, and I think that's in Texas too, right? But
Yeah, it's on the Texas Mexico border.
Yeah.
It's 136. Somebody said in chat.
yeah,
Yeah, it was up there. Ben's trying to look. I know they talked about it yesterday. I can't remember.
Because Trey McKinney has an outside chance. If he just doubles his weight, he's
Yeah.
at 134.
I think you're going to see
Yeah.
a lot of. I mean, we've already seen numerous records broken in the first open this year. But man, some of the biggest fish are being caught, and it's just exciting to see. And for you local North Carolina folks, like I can tell you that the bite is starting. Well, I don't know. It probably shut it down today with the weather we had, but the bite is starting to
we
heat
got
up a
big
little bit.
warming trend starting tomorrow.
Yeah, so
it should.
make sure y'all get out on the water, man, and turn that forward-facing sonar off and go shallow.
I'm still gonna keep it on.
Yeah.
But,
Conserve battery power.
yeah. But yeah, so that's going down. Obviously, Toledo Bend wrapped up last week with Fujita winning that. So congrats to him. That was a heck of a tournament. We thought we were going to see some 100-pound bags there,
Just
potentially,
one.
but it
Just one.
fell off, and I only saw the one, which was the first one on that lake. So that was cool. Falls was 55 today. I don't believe anything anybody says about water temps, because I've seen dudes that their temperature sensors are so far off that it's unbelievable. They'll be like, it's 62.
I mean-
Jordan, and you go and it's 40. And I do regularly check my water temperature sensors on
Your
my
water
boat.
thermometer.
So I know it's accurate. So I don't trust anything that I read on the internet, even from the core engineers, like on
Here, I'll give
they
you.
said 50 something, and that's right at the dam in Turbot Water where they have that and everything. So
I would. So whoever said Falls was 55 today, and we
what was
know.
Harris yesterday.
Well, I'll tell you, it wasn't Mike Corbersley that said Falls, because the MPFL.
It was David Fuchs. So he probably saw something.
So that's Mike Johns must be. So Sharon Harris on a certain part of the lake yesterday reached 54.
He said he saw a picture of a giraffe.
And then
They probably weren't even on fall.
and then the other side of the lake was 51.4. So again, I think my temperature sensors are relatively accurate, but I did catch 2 5-pounders. Well, I lost one and I caught another one, and then I caught another 2-pounder in pretty dirt shallow water. So are fish moving up? I couldn't tell you.
They ain't moving up.
Were fish shallow? There were some, but there's always fish shallow at some point,
Actually,
right?
They ain't moving up.
Yeah, they are going to be moving up. It's March 1st.
I think they're moving up.
They're staging to spawn and shut, but they ain't moving up to spawn. They ain't moving up. Watch the Dustin Connell video. I've seen 57 posts on NC Bass Fishing.
No,
I caught one shallow. They're gonna be on beds. No, they're not gonna be on
don't
beds.
watch no videos. Get your boat, go out there and
Go
check it for
fish.
yourself.
But they ain't moving up.
They're moving up.
They ain't moving up. Biologically, they're not.
Pete hasn't fished in 3 months. They're moving up.
They aren't moving. I can promise you at 51 degrees.
All right, so please don't yell at me. I'm just trying to contribute to the show. Is that David?
Oh, we're not yelling
We're
at
not
you, brother.
yelling. Dave, come on, man. Don't pull that Air Force stuff on
Who
us.
said, do you think technology is changing bass fishing, or so is it changing power fishing? No and no.
I don't think it's changing bass fishing. I think it's changing how fast people are able to learn. And I think old people are getting mad at young people for beating the crap out of them on the water. And that's just the way it is, man.
Look, man, go watch. Man, we're getting into it. I didn't get into this.
It's all right. The
Go
the
watch.
guys want it, right?
Go watch that series Bass just did. What's it called?
Cast.
The cast. And they go
Stealing our
they
name.
go to a tournament recap from like 1982 with a dude with a paper graph on his boat that was fishing in 50 foot of water and said, there's a school of bass, there's a school of shad. I dropped my marker buoy and I threw on them and I caught them. We're doing the exact same thing today. We're just using
Just faster.
sonar and we're not using a marker buoy. It's just a lot faster. So for me, what it's doing is it's cutting that learning curve down, because you had to learn that deep stuff back in the day. Easy on the Army strap.
I'm just messing with you,
Yeah.
David.
So you had to learn that. You had to learn that back in the day. The greatest thing that happened today was Wheeler zeroing due to being 9 minutes late and still only caught 5 for less than 10 pounds in the Invitational at West Point. Oh, I don't follow that, so I didn't know.
they had
I didn't even know they had a tournament going on. But that is pretty funny. That he was late for weighing and only had.
Happens to the best of us.
What's leading that, Nick? What's the weights look like? I don't even know what West Point is. Where's West Point? Anybody know? Never even heard of that.
West Point Lake?
Is
It's
that-
definitely not by West Point Military
Yeah, it'd
Academy.
be awful cold
Yeah.
up there.
Yeah, I
But
don't know. where West
anyway,
Point is.
to finish answering your question, Mike, because that is a good question. I don't think it's changing bass fishing. I think it's changing our learning curve. And I think it's changing our beliefs on what we thought we knew about fish and their behavior. So a lot of times I'm guilty of it. I know Ben's guilty of it because we've talked about it. You would run over a school with fish suspended off of cover and you would just keep rolling. You wouldn't try to fish for those fish.
Yeah, because that was
our
was-
belief was when they suspended, they weren't feeding.
the old thing was you're out there graphing your side imaging your 2D. You go over a point or a hump. If there's bait fish and some bass up on top of it,
21 pounds in Georgia.
right?
Cool.
That's when you fish. But if the bait's up there and the fish are off the draw,
You just keep rolling.
you just mark it and come back and
You
check
and
it
I
later.
have done it fishing tournaments with forward facing on our boat because our belief, like everybody, was those fish suspend off the point. They
They're
weren't
not-
going to eat.
They were not active.
Now with forward facing sonar, we see just because those fish are out there doesn't mean they're inactive and they won't eat. You put a bait in front of them, the right bait, the right presentation. Sometimes you can make them eat. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to eat. I mean, we've
And-
got to see it. The guys have talked about it on the elites and all the other. Just because you see them, and Trey can tell you, I can tell you,
We can all.
Ben can tell you, if you don't have it on your boat, get it and you'll know. You can look at them all day and throw baits at them all day, and sometimes you can't make them eat.
A lot of times. you
and
can't
A lot of
do it.
times, yeah.
And right now, the fad is the finesse stuff.
Yeah.
Sure.
But that all comes in cycles. I mean,
Yeah.
what, 10 years ago, the drop shot was the one.
Oh yeah.
Everyone was throwing it everywhere, right? And that was the big secret thing that got real big was right. And it comes in recently here the last couple of years. It's been a lot of big baits.
Yeah.
That is. And so right now the forward facing sonar game super finesse, but like I mean, because we've done it. The next thing's going to be going out like with big spoons.
Big
And
spin, heavy,
big-
1 ounce, 2 ounce spinner baits, all, big jig, big heavy ounce, ounce and a half jigs.
And look, I've seen
the
guys
monster jig that missile
Missile
just
just-
released, that kind of stuff.
and I've seen guys like on Table Rock or Bull Shoals and like 30, 40 foot, standing timber using live scope with 3/4 ounce football jigs.
Yeah.
Here,
Right. So
And there's Nick still. I know Nick throws the drop shot everywhere. Northern guy. I've seen him
Oh,
do
yeah.
it down here all over the place.
I watched Nick look at me and set the hook one time. That
He
was
does-
last
He
year.
does do that.
It was pretty dope. Here-
I watched me on a tournament lollygag to a hump that I wanted to fish because the fish weren't schooling, and Nick and his partner pull up on the hump, and I just kept going, and then I watched Nick catch like a 4-pounder on a random cast.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that just makes you mad.
And then I
fishing
went
out of
around the
back of
corner
boat.
and had a giant come out and eat my dang chatterbait and somehow not get hooked. I mean, a giant. It was on Tillery.
Yeah.
Anybody that's local knows Tillery. It was every bit of 7.
Before you say something about this glide bait comment, because I know you're gonna. Let me rephrase that last question about forward facing sonar changing bass fishing. I think if you were to ask, is forward facing sonar changing bass fishing? No. Is forward facing sonar changing tournament bass fishing? Yes. And forward facing sonar does not have to change your way of bass fishing.
Yep.
So that's that's what it is, right? Like you either, if you're a tournament angler and you want to compete against your competitors, adapt.
Well,
And adapt.
I was gonna say
right?
even 95% of your clubs, it's not going to change.
Right.
the
I
way
mean,
clubs
like,
are fishing.
yeah.
Like your smaller club stuff. Now, if you start getting into bigger regional or you in some of these big clubs, like the one Van Dam and a bunch of pros have fished out of Michigan, that club, like those folks out the Alabama Bass Trail, those kind of things. You're talking a much bigger scale. You need to have it to compete, but
Yeah.
I don't need it to compete in my club tournaments. We probably don't need it to compete in the Fishers of Men, but I'm going to go out and try to beat Corbishley using it on falls because I know he's going to be whacking them shallow, and I don't know anything about that. But yeah, I think we're all on the same page.
Yeah, for sure.
I know there's folks that thinks it's changing bass fishing, but you're still throwing a bait at a bass on a rod, reel, and line. We're just doing it in different areas like we haven't before, right? When do you think punching came about? I mean, we never caught those fish under mats in the 70s that I know of. And then somebody figured out I can put a big heavy string on here and a big heavy weight and blow through these mats, and there's giants.
Probably a catfisherman that started it, to be honest with you.
Honestly, could be like that, but that changed the show.
It's probably Shaw Grigsby
right?
trying to hunt alligators and then realized there's big bass underneath there.
Yeah.
Matty Wong using the glide bait or glide and big swim bait today.
Oh,
dude.
So, hold on. Just before we get into that, Mike followed up with, I didn't ask if forward facing sonar was changing bass fishing, just technology. I don't think any technology is changing bass fishing. I believe the only thing it's doing is it's cutting down our learning curve. It's making it easier for us to break down a body of water because instead of paper maps, we have high quality relief shaded maps on our graph. We have side imaging so we can look further with our electronics. I don't think it's changed anything about what we do. We're still going to the same primary points, secondary points, spawning flats, feeding flats, mid-lake humps, channel swings, mid-lake channels, all that stuff that's always held fish.
Yeah.
But now we can just look at it a lot quicker. We don't need to make 15 casts to figure out the fish are there because we can run by with side scan and see what's going on. So I don't think it's changing bass fishing. I think it's making us more efficient at bass fishing, any fishing in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, it cuts out time. It makes it more efficient.
It cuts out time, but then, technology there's so much technology that's changed. We've talked about before. It's not just electronics, it's everything has changed.
Yep.
And, now we just can expedite the process, knowing what a fish looks like, how it's acting, all that good stuff, where it's positioned in the water column, and then choose the right piece of new bait technology and line technology and rod technology.
So you agree
to fish.
It says you agree it's evolving. I don't think it's evolving. We're doing the exact same things. It's just we're more efficient. It's not changing the way we fish. It's just making us more efficient at how we fish. I don't see that as an evolution.
I think you're seeing some people change. So, okay, then the demographic, right? Like the younger guys, they're kind of coming up this way. The older guys didn't come up this way. So they are having to change a lot of the way they fish, but they're still fishing in the same areas a lot of times. You know what I mean? But the days of going to a lay down on the bank and flipping it, those days aren't over. It's just now they know where the bigger caliber of fish live.
Yeah.
And they're just targeting them.
All right, that's enough on technology. I don't want to talk about it. Somebody who was that? Dave said Matty Wong using glide and big swim baits today. Yeah, Matty's Aldane was throwing them too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, that's a Doom Rider. Matty was throwing. They did a drop today. I don't know if there's any left. It's $200 glide bait. It's a heck of a bait. I don't have any. I have some similar baits. Zaldane.
Pete lies. He bought the whole stock.
Yeah, no, Zaldane caught him. I don't know if he threw it this year because he didn't have a camera. But I know the last time they were there 2 years ago, he caught him on the Tater Hog, which is a really good glide bait. I do have one of those. Matt McBee, we're gonna have him on the show. Makes a Tater Hog. He's a North Carolina guy,
and he fishes the MPFL.
So we're getting him lined up to come on.
And he doesn't have power poles on his boat.
I can't. Frank said I can't see a fish on side image, down image, let alone forward facing. Yeah, I mean it's just one of those things. Like I've had to take the time to figure it out. And last year's EQ has an F4 facing. Do you think the same 10 would have still qualified for the elite?
No, I don't. We talked about that.
I think there's a few that could have potentially. One is Trey. Trey grew up fishing without it for a long time. He spent a lot of time not fishing with forward facing. He embraced it. But if you look at how long he's been winning tournaments, even as a young guy, like 12, 13 years old, winning BFLs, he didn't have it back then, and the guy he learned from, taught him how to fish shallow, and he'll credit that. Like he's like, I learned how to fish shallow. I've taught myself and come up with this stuff. I think JT probably would still qualify just because he grew up fishing a river. He knows how to catch fish shallow. And when we had him on the show, if you haven't listened to that one, go back, check it out on Apple, Spotify, all those. He talks about, he didn't even have it on his boat till 2 years ago, I think. And he took the time to learn it. Milliken, I think, probably could have still qualified. If you go back in all of his old videos and stuff like that, he didn't use forward facing for a very long time. Milliken didn't. When he did start using it, he went all in on learning how to use it to specifically target big fish. And he'll tell you, I like to target big fish, and that's what he does. And he uses forward facing to do that. So, but some of the other guys, I don't know. Like there's guys that 100%. So Wes Logan said today, forward facing takes ordinary fisherman and turns them into a hero. I don't think it takes an ordinary fisherman and turns them into a hero. I have it, and it hasn't turned me into.
You're not an ordinary
he's
fisherman.
not running out there and EQing tomorrow. Like
right, we were talking about that.
Yeah, John Cox, he does. So don't believe that fully. John Cox does have it. He just doesn't have it on his boat till they go north.
we were talking about that because I saw that comment on one of the boards about, and I didn't know who it was. You know, some of the, I think the comment on the was like some of the old heads are saying, you know, LiveScope's making the average angler a hero. But if that's the case, if you're supposed to be one of the best, then why are you getting your, you know, face kicked in by these kids, right? If you're supposed to be so great, like it should just be a better advantage for you if you got all that experience and skill, but it's not.
Yeah, I mean, you could ask the same thing. Like, so if the Taliban had javelins and GBU 34s and drone technology, and we didn't, who would win that one, right? Or you could say it about the Ukrainians: if they didn't have drones, would they be beating the Russians? I have no idea, and we actually don't know if they would have qualified for the EQs or the elites, anyways. Because you could shuffle them right back into EQs this year, and it could be a totally different 9 that qualifies. So, you know, there's so many variables that are associated with every single thing in bass fishing. But we did talk about it earlier, like, you know, maybe if they regulate it, like just like all other sports have regulations, helmet sizes, ball sizes, court sizes, things like that. It might make a little bit of sense if you want to call this a professional sport, not bring your own weapon systems to the battlefield type deal.
Does anybody have any non-forward-facing sonar questions? Please put them up. I'm really tired of talking.
They regulate other stuff. Like I think it was a couple years ago.
Engines are regulated.
They allowed the rod to be 8 foot.
Yeah, that changed.
You know, that changed a couple years ago. For flipping, and you know, the Alabama rigs outlawed. I mean, So.
Yeah, bring back the A-rig to the elites, man.
I think it'll come back. I really do. I know there's some other
probably like 3 hooks.
Other leagues that are considering it. It'll go to probably. I don't even know if they'll give them 3 hooks. It might be a 1 hook deal, but I think someday you'll see it back there because it's hard to make the argument that the A-rig is unfair. And I get, but it's also not hard because yes, the A-rig is unfair because with 5 hooks, a fish just has to swipe at it, right? And you can still hook it in the side.
Yeah.
With forward-facing sonar, you can't just go out and snag a fish, even though that's what people that hate forward-facing sonar things going on.
What's biting at Norman tomorrow? A non-forward-facing sonar.
Or a non-forward.
Hopefully, a big spotted bass.
Spots, man. I would just go throw like a shaky head around on Norman, probably.
I mean, I would just go throw an A-rig.
Yeah, spots. I don't know a whole lot about fishing spots, but that's my whole rig is less than the electronics on most boats now. Yeah. I mean, that's where a lot of us are, Andrew. That's
I mean,
non-forward facing sonar question. How's Chelsea doing? She's doing good. She's fishing and editing a video for us.
Actually, what is she editing, Pete?
Getting some stuff together. She's editing a new partnership video we have coming. So there might be some hints around certain places, you know, that tell you who that might be. But yeah, so I'll just go ahead and say it because I don't care. I mean, I do care, but I don't. But I'll zoom in here. Hold on. Watch this. It might be on my hat here. There's a little hint of somebody who's coming in.
It's definitely not the one cast. Is that it? Is that the surprise?
There you go. Little Hobie Eyewear coming on board. We're going to do some partnership working with them. We'll have a code for everybody to be able to go to discount on those glasses. We're just waiting for all that stuff to come through.
It's pretty cool because they're already at an amazing price. And talking about electronics being more than what your boat's worth, like you guys will be able to save a little bit of change by using the code from the podcast with Hobie. And they are fantastic.
And that'll help us. And so those glasses, the Hank Cherries start at $109. For the floating frame lenses, the non-Hank Cherry start at $100. I don't know what the discount and all that stuff is, but gonna be, but as soon as we do, we'll let you know. But you'll be able to save some change, and they're really
Mhm.
good glass, high quality, and they're a bunch of good dudes.
I've got 3 pair.
dudes and
Yeah.
dudes and dudettes. So, let me go back.
I think
If
we had
jerkbait has 3 trebles, that is 9 hooks. Okay. Yep. Yeah. But is it 9 hooks or is it 1 hook? Is it
yeah.
because it's only on 1 shank?
So you rig an A rig with a line through, and then you got 3 hook points in there, right?
Drop shot on Norman. Nick is right. He's whacked him.
Yeah.
You give me the name of a creek to go to tomorrow on Jordan. LOL. Thanks for last week. You put me on the right direction. Thanks again. Fishtips.com. I'll have some uploaded there. No, I'm just kidding. I'll just go to the same areas, man. We gave out community information on Jordan, and Eddie went out there and caught some big old fish last Saturday. So I think he had 20 some pounds on 3 fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he found some good ones.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid.
Yeah,
to go
but
check
now
it out.
you have like 40-degree and rain temperatures, so it could completely change the water
Is
tomorrow.
Ben going to fish any tournaments this year? Ben is going to fish
Yeah.
1 tournament trail. Ben, you want to make your announcement?
Yeah, I plan on fishing the Goodyear Trail. So, small trail around here, a little club. I don't know how many boats they have, maybe 10 to 12, but they fish on Tuesdays. So
Yeah.
I don't have to fight it's great. Running the tackle business, I can set my own schedule, so I don't have to get out there on the weekends. And so that's the first one's March 12th on Jordan. So
Yeah.
I plan on getting out maybe next Thursday or Friday to Jordan.
Yeah.
And then definitely Monday to go check it out. And then
Heck yeah.
roll into it Tuesday and see what happens.
The Goodyear Trail is cool. It's a bunch of there's a couple Goodyear plants around North Carolina, but there's a big one in Fayetteville. A bunch of them guys are A and C Trail. Nick said a bunch of those guys are bass fishermen, so they started a couple. I think they have A, B, and C, and for their shifts, so they schedule a tournament during the week on their off days and go out there and fish. It is open to non-employees, so if you're in the North Carolina area, you can reach out to somebody who fishes them, and I think it costs you a couple bucks more if you don't work there for the entry. I don't know for sure, but I know a few folks that fish it. Ben's going to fish it. There's a bunch of good dudes fish that trail.
I think it's 100.
And I think
per
some
boat.
dudettes.
Yeah.
Chelsea's hiding behind the scenes. She said, "Going to be on Hartwell in the AM. Hope we can smack some in the mouth." Good luck on Hartwell. You're probably getting the same cold front we got today, so I don't.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's, I think it'll be a little bit tougher bite for our areas around. It'll start to pick up though because we've got a big warming trend coming after that.
I'd just be going to hit like primary and secondary rocky points on Hartwell and throwing shaky head or jerk bait or whatever.
What is on Trey's hoodie? Cat hair. No,
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
that's a unit symbol.
I got a Milliken fishing shirt on. I wore that.
Yeah.
intentionally today.
What are you wearing, Nick?
Yeah. What you got on, big boy?
What you got on, dude?
This
So,
warm front's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except there's no sun. It's all
That's okay.
cloudy.
It's still warmer weather, which will warm the water up some. And then I'm hopeful that the week after we get a week of good sunny warm weather, and that'll really get things.
This is the problem with March here, because a lot of times, like Bragg Bass Busters, they would have their March tournament towards the end of March, and it seemed like no fail. The weekend prior was awesome weather, and the PBC would go catch like 30 pounds on falls.
Yep.
And then the cold front comes through, and it's like 50 degrees is the high, and 35 in the morning when we always blast off.
That's right. Nick is wearing a Carolina Waters shirt, so you can go get the same shirt that Nick Kincaid Fishing wears. CarolinaWatersNC.com. Use the code TheOneCast, all one word. That's all though, man. Send me a pic later.
Dude, you know what? Like just random, I just, holding this deep dive and crankbait. I'm actually looking forward to after the spawn. Like, I don't know about you guys. Like, I know a lot of people love fishing the spawn, but honestly, like, I just don't want to, I don't care about the spawn. I want to fish them.
I'm ready to go jack them off a bed.
Yeah.
Just big line.
I don't know.
Big
What do you
hook,
guys think? Are you
and just
spawn
murder
fishing
them in the face,
or post
bro.
spawn fishing?
Murder
Which
'em
one?
in the face, and then I do like post spawn.
Yeah.
But I don't like that immediately post spawn. That
No.
funk you get.
That's
It's like
like spawn
yeah.
blues.
like you get that week or so period that I don't really know what happens, and then they just start eating.
I think the reason why I like the offshore post spawn schooled up bite is because you can sit on one spot all day and just dominate.
Tony,
know.
Red Crest, are y'all coming down? No, they couldn't pay us to come to Red Crest. That it's just too far. It's too far, too much money, and given what we saw last year, it's hard. The return on investment isn't there with their show yet. Hopefully someday that turns.
That and it's the the week right after
right after the class.
right after the classic. So
Yeah.
a lot of
literal. It's going to be weird.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about you have to tear down Sunday at the classic and run up beat
Yes.
and set up.
So this is like some inside industry
Go
stuff.
ahead.
There was a lot of companies who were upset about that because, you know, so the really large companies
I agree, Frank.
like Berkeley, so Pure Fishing, like Garmin, the electronics, they've probably got multiple booths. They can make that, but kind of the smaller ones, and I'm not even talking like one cast size or like the little mom and pop stuff, you know, like medium sized companies, like that's like even like Cashin, right? Like
Yeah, they're
for-
going to both, and I don't know how they're going to do it.
like with the number of people they have to go to both locations and move all that, like it's a logistical movement and it's expensive. So
Yeah.
What? When basking on beds, I go crappie fishing. Oh, I stick it. Give me a 5/0 heavyweight flipping hook on 20-pound fluorocarbon with a white D-bomb and a 3/8 ounce weight.
I throw night crawlers.
I'm gonna go stick in his face. What rod are y'all using for deep cranking? I'm using the Cashin Icon deep crank rod.
Same here. I think it's a what 7.6.
So yeah, 7.6,
7.6.
moderate, fast,
Yep.
medium, heavy.
I've got a 7.4 because I don't have any Cashin cranking rods. I've got a 7.4 Abu that's glass,
Mm-hmm.
and then a Shimano. I think that's glass and graphite.
Yeah.
The 2
composite.
weeks post spawn sucks. After that, give me a popper, and I'm a happy fisherman. Yeah, popper's a bait I threw a lot last year.
Man.
Got confident in. I never had confidence in it. There you go. Chelsea threw it out there. That's the model number. The ICBD 76 medium heavy moderate fast catch and icon. That is their deep crank rod. Love it.
Yeah.
Come to Tennessee Tim's. They having a tournament in April. Get the date. Yeah, get the date. I mean, if I can make it, I ain't afraid to drive and fish. Buzzbait. I mean, I start throwing a buzzbait as soon as water hits 50 degrees. I'm gonna throw one.
That buzzbait's gonna happen.
I'm gonna throw one when we get a pre-fish, I guess is what we're
Yeah.
because it's like still
Pre-practice.
still almost a month away from our tournament.
Yeah. Pre-practice.
on Bugs Island, but we're gonna go up there and I'll probably throw a buzzbait around the dock a little bit.
If I see 58-degree water, I might break one out.
I'll tell you what, man, I caught him the first week of March a couple of years ago on a buzzbait. My buddy couldn't believe it. I mean, we were still bundled up with beanies on and stuff, and I whipped a buzzbait out, caught a 5-pounder and boat flipped it, and he was like, "You got to be kidding me." And I was like, "Hey, man,
Absolutely.
sometimes they're hungry before the spawn,
Yeah.
y'all. Like they're feeding up so they can go get beat up, and then they go rest, and then they feed up again."
Justin, yeah, I'm not as big on the plopper because you have to move them a little bit faster. But if you get the right buzzbait with a big blade that you can wind super slow,
Slow, yes.
it'll keep moving 50 degrees, man.
Yeah.
I've watched Mike Nadu whack them in 50-degree water
Yeah.
with a buzzbait. Like
So, and Mike Johns too, like
Yeah.
he, if he's still on here, I know, and we want to say, if Mike isn't on here, good luck tomorrow, man. Mike's got a BFL on the Harris chain.
I think Harris chain, yeah.
Yeah, Harris chain, which he's using that BFL for practice for the
Toyota.
Toyota series on the Harris chain. So good luck tomorrow, Mike. Hopefully you can catch more than 2 pounds.
But yeah, ploppers, man, as soon as it hits 50, I'm not going to say I'll throw it a lot, but if the situation's right, if we get a good, warm, sunny day, a lot of times those fish will push up on the shallow because that's where the bait fish go. We got to think like where is what the fish are eating, right?
Mm.
So when you get a nice, warm, sunny day, all of that plankton, all of those microorganisms, the bait fish feed, come to the shallow because the water is warmer. They can get in that sunlight and do their thing. That pulls the bait fish shallow. That pulls the bass shallow. Now, shallow is relative to where you
Mhm.
fish.
Yeah.
Might be 6 inches, might be 5 feet. Depends on where you're at. But if you can find those bait fish where they're starting to congregate on a north or south bank, depending on where you're at in the country and sun and blah, blah, blah. If you can find those bait fish and the bass are up there feeding, do not be afraid to throw a buzzbait because they will come up and eat it.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the big explosive love, smash that you get in the summertime, but they'll just come up and slurp
But you're
go
right,
down.
though. Some of the backs of
A
the
frog too, yeah, Aaron. Absolutely.
some of the backs of the pockets where the water's like a little bit stained, it typically warms up faster than like your clear water and stuff
Especially
like
if you
that.
get a warm rain.
Yeah, you get a warm rain, you get a bright bluebird sky day, and like I kind of do the so fish. Say we got a cold front, right, which we do right now. I won't immediately start shallow the day after some cold weather. I may start deep, but if we have a bright bluebird sky day where it warms up, then I will go shallow. So it's kind of the reverse what you see like in the summertime. You go shallow where there's a morning feed. and then you go offshore later. I kind of do the reverse sometimes, and sometimes it works out and sometimes it don't. But don't be afraid. Some nice dead water, throw top water. It could be a popper, it could be a buzzbait, but just remember they're hungry before they lay their eggs.
Yep. Chelsea said, I have a love-hate relationship with buzzbaits. Yep. I watched her lose an absolute mega giant on a buzzbait on Jordan. I have great videos. She drops an F-bomb. I'll post it in the chat.
Yeah.
But I have an edited version where I bleep the F-bomb. She was very upset, and I am very not supportive.
Yeah.
But yeah, we pulled up on a point in the summer, and I said, throw buzzbait. And I was getting rods and rigging and getting stuff ready.
I remember seeing the
So all you
video.
hear is whoosh. She sets the hook, and I'm all nonchalant, get the net, and I'm like, she's like, I think it's a big one. And I was like, is it? I was like, it's acting like it. It's bulldogging, and it ate a buzzbait. So usually it's a pretty good fish. And then it come out of the water. And I was like, huh? And as it come out of the water, the hook come on, and I went, well, that's an 8-pounder, just like that. And I put the net together, and I set it back down, and I go back to rigging like nothing happened.
Must have had a banana in the boat.
There might have been. I have to double check, but yeah.
Ronald said, didn't they go to 1 year?
Amistad 1 year.
Who's they?
So Amistad. So no one's been there like a major tour like a decade or
Yeah,
longer.
I can't remember the last time Bass.
But the NPFL, they'll be
They're there right now.
Yeah, practice starts
Sunday.
Oh yeah, Sunday.
So they're all traveling.
Yeah,
Yep.
so that tournament starts next Thursday. So that's their championship. Originally, they were going to have it last year
Mhm.
when the schedule came out initially,
Yeah.
but they moved it to kind of like the Classic years where their championship is the following.
Well,
year.
you guys are definitely going to want to go listen to the next recorded show that drops. It's the next one, right?
on Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday.
Yeah. So go. So on Thursday, you guys will see, or you guys will hear or see an MPFL angler, and I won't leak it out there, but you guys will want to hear that one. It's a really good conversation. So
Man, this is Fishing Friday Live. We give out insight. It's Lewis,
It's
the Bass Warrior
Warrior
Fernandez, joining us on the show. So make sure you check that one out. Super, super cool guy.
yeah, he's
His
crazy.
story of how he got the name the Bass Warrior is awesome.
Yeah, it is.
And definitely check that one out. We had a lot of fun with Lewis.
Keith Poche wish he had something on that. That's all I'm going to say.
Luckily, Trey was jacked up because we did it super late because he's a California guy, and
Yeah.
I was tired, and I think
Yeah.
Ben was probably pretty tired too. But Trey carried us in it, and it was a really, really
Yeah, because we started filming 8:30 our time.
Yeah.
Which is that's
Who
about
said-
my bedtime.
Who said they're going to be on the water for the first time this year on
that was
Sunday?
David. Fewes.
Yeah,
So,
so-
up there in Jersey,
Yeah, jerk baits, lipless crankbaits can't go wrong.
I
with
might
either
get
of
out
them.
for the first time on Sunday too.
it's all right, Jeff. Don't let it happen again, bud.
I know where there's a waterfall, and that's where I'll be.
That's Ben's bedtime. It was way past Ben's bedtime.
It's getting close. Yeah.
I spoke to a guy that was fishing at a tackle shop. He was on Hartwell this afternoon, said he was catching them in 15 to 20 foot of water. He said he had a total of 18 pounds. Yeah, I mean, that's a deep lake, man, unless you like run up to like, Seneca and go fish for largemouth and stuff. But I mean, that place is different than Lanier. Hartwell has a lot more largemouth than Lake Lanier does. And so you can fish brush piles deep, you can fish structure out deep, or you can go shallow. It just depends on what it's going on down there.
Jeff said, thanks for the tips on Jordan. I won. Yep, you're welcome, Jeff. If you used our tips or if you're just, patting us on the back, either way, I appreciate it. You went out and won. Another viewer, Eddie, went out and caught a bunch of fish. So glad we were to help folks have some success. That was Justin D. Wood said, what are y'all thoughts on Mega Bass 110 jerks for 6-inch jerk? They're the exact same bait.
Mm.
Pretty much all jerk baits are just a Mega Bass 110 now. I mean, if you look, they all carry the same shape now, the same lip design.
Yeah, I mean,
They're all pretty close.
pretty much the only jerk baits I have are the Mega Bass, and then I've got the Rapala.
I don't own a single Mega Bass jerk bait.
I have a few.
Sorry, the Strike King.
Yeah. I think, I mean,
I got a few painted by the 6 Sense.
I'll tell you, like, if you're trying to get a jerk bait to go deep and you don't want to go spend like $25 on a jerk bait, put some weights on your jerk bait and get it down there.
Just-
Like
yeah.
you can do that, right?
Get
Like
some lead dots.
I'll put lead dots. I put 2 on a Rapala jerk bait or Rapala jerk bait, whatever you will.
Sure.
I'll throw it on 6 or 8 pound fluorocarbon, and I will let that thing slow sink. And then I'll let it get down to 10 to 12 feet, and then I can twitch it up and then let it slow sink. Or you can go get yourself some Kredges. But I will tell you that the Kredges, and we have a couple of them, those things are super heavy. You can bomb them a mile, and they are meant to be fished very differently than a traditional jerk bait.
Yeah. Yep. The way that their action, the way they fall back and
100%,
everything.
100% different.
Jeff said he caught him on a shaky head on deadfall. Yeah, I had a feeling Wood was going to play on Saturday. So That's awesome. I'm glad that worked out that way. Justin, that's what I said. Yeah, the 6 cents jerk, the 110s, paint jobs, even what's the Stunna now that
the Berkeley
came out
Stunna.
with.
Yep.
Even the new Rapala ones look
they're all
like
very
the
much alike.
110s. The one thing I'll say with the 6 cents is whatever plastic they use, it changes very much sink rate, suspend rate, and all of that in water. So the colder the water, the more they sink. Versus warmer water, they float more, and it's very evident if you look at it. So if you are throwing the 6 cents one and you want to get them down, you don't need as much weight as what you would need with the Megabass 110s. Larry Reed, fly fishing, lead wire, wrap around the trebles.
That's another great way to do it.
Suspend dots, any of those. I carry both in the
well, they all change the action, right? So if you wrap lead wire around, depending on your back hook, it'll change the action. Your front hook, it'll change it. You put dots on top, it'll change it. So it just depends on what you have available and how the fish are reacting to it. I can tell you, I have not done anything on a jerkbait this year. I've thrown it a handful of times, but the fish will not react to it. And I think a lot of times it has to do with a lack of wind. I've been out in some windy days, but when it's usually super windy like that, the jerkbait is not the first bait I'm going to throw. I'll throw like a spinner bait or an underspin or something like that, deep water.
So that's the thing about, for me with the jerkbait, like you want a little bit of chop,
but not too much.
But especially because I like use it when I use the jerkbait almost scoping. I'm almost exclusively when I'm using a jerkbait. So like, I don't want to be moving around too much. One, I want to be able to work it kind of slow, especially this time of year with the water cold.
Yep.
And so if your boat's drifting off, your line will get tight. And then two, I want to be able to track what I'm seeing.
Exactly.
So it's what, like this last week, because I could have finished my boat up like Wednesday, but like the winds were like 20 mile an hour, 25 mile an hour. So I was like, I'll just finish it up Saturday and get out. I know someone asked if they were going to be on Jordan Sunday. No, if I get out Sunday, I'm just going to go on my little local lake. I probably
and catch 30 pounds
if I can find them,
or maybe 35.
Hopefully they're in their
hey, don't discount a jerkbait over a bed, guys.
That was Jerry said, see you Sunday on Jordan. Eddie said 3 to 5 inch swim baits work great on Hartwell, and here's the best spot lake I've ever been on in my life. Completely packed with 3 to 5 pound spots. Nico rig on Lanier's deadly. Yeah, Lanier's a super interesting lake. I've never seen so many brush piles in my life.
Yeah, everyone was watching the Alabama. Yeah, when I go to Jordan, I need to find me on Alabama rig.
I'll get 10,
but I want to try not to fish the riprap.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're getting warmer weather. We're getting out of late winter, which is where we've been, and now we're getting into the true pre-spawn. So fish are quote unquote moving up.
They're moving
into those staging areas. So they're going to start getting on those secondary points.
They're starting their transition.
Flats, those areas like that, and they're going to start feeding up. The other thing that's going on right now is we're hitting that 52, 53,
crappie.
55, 56. I think crappie will start at around 53 degrees are starting to spawn. And those big girls, Eddie, I'm almost 100% positive that those fish that you guys were catching on Saturday were in there eating crappie.
They were.
I would bet my life on it. As those crappie push up into their spawning areas.
Yeah, Eddie, I want to need that GPS coordinate.
I got it, bro.
We got it.
I know.
Those bass will stage off of those in that little bit deeper water, and they'll eat those crappie. And then as it gets warmer, and they'll start to slide, up into that shallow water and pick them off the bed too. And that's why this time of year, guys they're moving up. Yes, but no, they're starting to move shallower and stage, but they're not moving up to spawn.
They're moving up to get closer to feed. They're not moving up to do their thing yet.
Yeah.
It's we know
water temp is.
I know that
transitioning
transitioning's coming, even though the water hasn't won as one. There was some pollen on my hood the other morning. And two, daylight savings time is this Saturday, Sunday. So we're getting the days are just getting longer.
And it's spring forward.
Yeah.
That means we gotta get up early.
Yeah. But I will say this though.
You had to get up later.
We Big Girls Are Biting Glides in my favorite lake, right? Pete Shandrick.
Oh yeah.
So, but your lake, depending on the size of your lake, like Sharon Harris, a bad example.
That's Trevor.
Oh, okay.
Like that is.
So
I'm not going to say it, but Trey knows.
So, but your lakes, depending on where you're at, your lakes are broken down differently depending on the area of the lake. So you could see in some portions of your lake, fish would appear to be moved up. And then some, they're move up feeding on crappie, right? So like, it just depends, because we did see that last year on a certain lake where they were definitely moved up and definitely spawning in a certain part, but it changes every single year. Like traditionally speaking, the spawn should start in April, but depending on the winter we have,
Yeah, but
all that stuff.
I know you're talking about Harris and those fish. No?
I'm talking about I'm not going to say the name of the lake. Falls. I'm talking about Falls. I'm talking about
Okay.
yeah. I'll say the name of the lake.
The spawning fish. When was that?
That was when I fished against Corvishley.
Oh yeah.
You
See,
know
I
what
don't
I'm
think
saying?
those fish were moving up the spawn yet. I think they were just moving up there to feed shallow.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I think we get so excited for the spawn to start that as soon as we see 55-degree water and somebody catches a fish in 2 foot of water, it means fish are moving.
Because
up the spawn.
think about, was it last year or 2 years ago? I'm getting confused. Well, the water temps were 60 for a month before they spawned.
Yeah.
Then they all spawned within a week.
Well, look at
Or
what
2
they've
weeks.
seen on Fork this week. In practice, they had warm water the first 2 days. They had big girls on beds, males on beds, getting ready to do their thing. Bam, cold front. All of those big fish pulled off. Some of the males still stayed up, but they were ready to do their thing. They didn't do it.
Right.
So this time of year is super, super sensitive. And that's why I thought you were talking about Harris,
No.
because the week before our tournament, not even 2 days, you and my dad went out there and caught them on a bed, ready to do their thing.
Yep.
Cold front hits, all of those fish pulled back up. We went back 2 weeks later, got warm, and that was when we were smashing dead
It's
fish.
like last year when we did the Ewers Harvard.
That's the one
tournament.
where I'm talking about.
Yeah, like
Trey had been catching them on the bed all week.
Yeah.
and then we get out there, we only saw like a couple bucks on beds.
But like first of all, like a lot of these lakes are in our area are dirty. You can't see the fish up there, right? And even if they are on a bed and you cast at them, it doesn't mean that they're gonna bite it,
Oh, absolutely.
right? So you just don't know. And I think we talked about it earlier, and I don't want to bring it up again, but we've been proven wrong on so much stuff with forward-facing sonar that who's to say some of the biggest fish in the lake haven't moved up, dumped eggs, and left, right? You just never know.
Science says because those eggs will die and they won't do that if they feel the pressure change and stuff coming. Like
Yeah, I mean,
Well, they spawn multiple times.
and they
Yeah.
could spawn multiple times. Like I truly believe we know enough about spawning fish because we've studied it extensively. The areas we couldn't study were those offshore fish suspended and all of that, because they did some stuff with trackers and all that, but there was no way for us to observe those fish.
Yeah.
Whereas we have tanks set up to watch fish spawn and spawning behavior. We can watch them in, scientists watch them in warm weather fisheries. They watch the smallmouth a lot. They do a lot of diving. So
what was interesting, I remember this from the Two Little Bend telemetry study, watching one of the videos on it. I think it was April, and this fish would spawn in the back of this creek. So like if it's on Jordan, say it's like at the back of Little Beaver, right? But it would spend most of the year like out at the mouth of the, at the mouth of the creek to the main lake. Well, in April, it moved all the way back for a couple days. And then I guess they had a cold front because they're looking at the weather, and some of the other fish moved off. Well, instead of this fish just moving back to like the first drop or like a secondary point, it went all the way back out to the
point.
mouth of the creek. And then about 3 weeks later, it went all the way back and then presumably spawned.
Yeah.
That, or maybe it spawned once and then did it twice. But
Sunday,
it's just
they
crazy.
were out suspended over deep water, went back Tuesday, and they were in 8 to 12 foot. Yeah, I mean they'll slide up and down this time of year,
especially that vertical, those vertical.
And
walls.
like I said, a lot of times we think it's them moving up to do their thing, but they're just following the bait. So the bait is going up where their food is because the water is warmer, shallower. The bass are still developing eggs. They're still trying to get fat. That's where their food is. So everything kind of starts.
They were 100% full eggs yesterday because
I'm sure.
I cut them open and knocked the sides off.
Oh, about to start a fight. Is the water temp higher on Harris than other lakes because of the plant discharges? So they only affect area by the plant or whole lake. Harris is usually warmer because it's smaller. It doesn't really have anything to do with the discharge.
The discharge is not.
It's smaller. It's not flood control, so it doesn't have water constantly in and out one end to the other with the dam and stuff. No, you did not, Chelsea said with the cow. Yeah, she got a fish a tournament. You're out there knocking the sides off her fish.
Hey, listen, you
release to the grease.
You can't catch my fish.
So Harris is usually warm or not. It doesn't have to do with the discharge. It's just
and it's only
warmer.
like a degree or two. It's
it's not significant at all.
There have been times we've seen it more than that, though.
Yeah, I mean, I got 54 degrees at one part of the lake yesterday and 51.4 at another part, but like it's definitely going to be down in the it'll be down in the 40s now. like with what we got right now,
Yeah.
cold rain and stuff, it's going to be down in the 40s. So fish are definitely going to slide back off, but it's not to say you still can't catch them shallow. Like, you know, sliding back off could be a couple feet just in a boop, you know, just a little boop. Yeah. Little
drop.
boopy.
There are David, there are lakes that are affected by warm water discharges, like Sutton Lake, which is on our east coast, out there by Wilmington. They're spawning in February there. That lake is almost always 60 degrees.
Norman's got a discharge.
Norman's got a discharge, so it's got one creek that's always warmer than all the other places around.
Yeah.
But as it gets into the big water, it dissipates. and
Blues Creek. Hyco, they shut down.
Hyco, they shut down.
So Belu's, Sutton, and is it Sutton?
Sutton.
Yeah,
does.
Belu's, Sutton, and Norman has warm water discharge. Yep. So Eddie, you were on Harris today. Did you catch anything? Let him answer.
On Sharon Harris today. Jordan was 54 yesterday. 55-degree water. I'm hitting Stagecoach with a OC Ned and a sexy shad.
Yeah, Larry, we need to get you
like
back
it.
out, dude. I had a blast fishing with you last time. It was tough because we were dead of the winter and we almost got T-boned. So,
David, we'll give you the 411 before you ever get here, because
Yeah.
we'll be able to tell you exactly what's going.
and David, I took work off the 18th through like the 25th or 26th. So there'll be one day where I'll definitely be able to get out there in my boat while you guys are out there.
Is that April?
Mhm.
Yeah, and we have a tournament that weekend, the 19th. But
Yeah.
it's on Jordan,
Yep.
When's mine?
isn't it?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I don't know our tournament schedule.
I gotta look now.
I'm poor
Dave,
about this.
when you putting there when you're coming again, because I forget.
Yeah.
Our tournament.
Oh crap! I guess
Water was 70 at a hot ditch on Hyco. So apparently they
Yeah.
didn't shut anything
That
off of Hyco.
I thought they did.
Yeah.
Guess they definitely didn't. If it was 70.
70 degrees on Hyco. They're probably spawned out up there.
Last
No,
time
that's
I was
pretty cool,
last
man.
time I was up there, it was been like 4 years ago. The little guy came over and checked my little license. He's like, "Yeah, they shut him down during the Obama
Yeah.
administration." And
Oh, ours is the 20th on Jordan. So the
Oh.
weekend after you're here. So we'll be on Jordan for sure when you're here, David.
I've also got one on the 26th of March.
And then we'll be done the week after you come down. So yeah,
Yeah.
we'll have Jordan pretty well dialed in whenever you're here.
I've got two.
I
tournaments in
think-
March.
Yeah, you
You
should.
said it depends on energy consumption in the area.
Oh, that makes sense.
Oh,
though.
that's right. Hyco went from coal to gas. That's what it was. So it just changed.
What week is Dave here in April?
25th through the
28th.
28th. I think he's going to
I've got a tournament on Harris on the 23rd of April.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Harris, they probably thought the slot limit was going to get lifted.
Yeah. It didn't get lifted yet, guys.
Well, it won't take effect till
So,
June 1st.
I've got Jordan the 12th. The 26th of March is White Lake. The 9th is Sutton of April. And
Gas
then it's
doesn't require all the cooling is the same cooling is cool. That
made
makes
in
sense,
Dillard.
Jeff. Yeah.
We'll see if I go to White Lake.
Fishing the 26th and 27th.
Here's how you get around that slot limit at Sharon Harris fish kayak tournaments, guys.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
True.
I got some walking, and I got 50 plus catch white bass guided tours.
Dude,
no white bass beatdown can be a good time.
you know what's funny is I actually haven't caught in white bass or different white. It's white perch that are in Harris for sure, but I haven't caught a lot of those this year. And the ones I have caught, they've
Oh,
been
we-
like this big,
Just
like
wait.
super
Do they
tiny.
have
know-
do they have them in Harris?
Oh yeah.
White perch?
No, white bass.
No,
I don't know.
no
Yeah.
white bass
I
in
know they
there.
got white perch because we catch it.
Because I've only caught white bass in Jordan.
That they do have some big white bass in Jordan. I thought, in fact, I was fishing right next to you years ago. Remember that? And I caught one with my buddy in the boat, and I thought it was like the freaking state record. I caught it on a DT10.
We were cranking those.
Yeah,
points,
we were cranking those points. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
So I will say, I guarantee you, the state record white perch is probably in Harris because it's only 2 pounds 15 ounces.
Is it really?
Is
we
the,
should
is
have
the
weighed
white
some of the
perch.
ones we caught last
Dang,
year.
dude.
We might
probably
have
that
had
one.
her, bud.
Probably that one you
So-
had that 6, 7, 8 pound bass try to
We
eat.
should we
so-
should we should do a whole series on
Yeah. So
We've caught some big ones.
the
on
white-
there.
oh yeah,
the
we'll
state
catch them. Eddie, you said you love White Lake. Yeah, man. They just got to do a better job at running some of those tournaments
I
out of
really
White Lake.
am interested to see how White Lake is this year
Yeah.
So I got my second tournaments there
because
because 26.
they killed.
So that's what I hear. It used to be crystal clear, and it's not anymore.
Oh, it's still clear. Trey and I went, but they killed.
When
How many did they say that one
'Cause- oh,
tournament?
man.
They said they killed 30 over 8 pounds in
Yeah.
one weekend on that lake.
Yeah. Like it was
in
bad.
tournaments.
It was, I think
It's
it was
still
a-
clear, dude. Like we
Yeah.
were there last year. It's
well, because like Sam was telling me,
well,
him
if
and his
Sam was
brother have
telling
been there.
you-
They killed all the grass.
oh, well, then that changes things.
when did,
And,
when did that happen?
sometime last year.
Yeah.
When
I
did
mean,
we
we
get
only went one time and that was
there
like,
was grass though, and it
yeah.
was clear.
But that's what he told me is that
Interesting.
they did a lot of spraying and it really it's not that crystal clear anymore.
well, hey,
So,
Eddie,
don't know.
if you love White Lake, if you've been out there recently, let Ben know if it's clear or if it's starting to get murky like Sharon Harris. You'll never see, I'm not going to say never, but you'll never, it's going to take a long time if the grass actually starts to grow in Harris for that lake to clean up for sure. AWOL fishing charters.
That's probably a lake because I've never been there, but I think there's a lot of boat docks and that time
it's all boat dock.
it's the end of March.
Yeah.
So let's just go out there and just
It's literally
I would definitely hit
it's
the edge of the
literally
boat
just a
dock.
big circle.
Just a bowl.
I'll just
Yeah.
It's
It's where
just a
we
big
jump
circle.
I
at.
don't think I'll go pre-fish. That's just when you just go out fishing.
Just
There's
go
boat docks everywhere except for the end. Well, you don't even docks down there, but there's like a swimming area and some stuff. Like
Eddie,
honestly, it was the most boring lake I've ever been.
it's
to.
super boring. It's so
It's
boring.
like a Florida lake, big bowl,
Yeah,
dogs
just
And
soaking
super boring.
there's some grass and a bunch of stuff in the middle.
But Eddie loves it, so Eddie's gonna hook you up with some G2 on that.
the offshore stuff there is like 6 foot deep.
Yeah, there you go. Grass is in the middle. We did see guys fishing offshore. Pete and I just went down there to mess around. But there is some offshore spots with some grass. So you can forward fishing sonar that.
It'd be a
stuff up.
fun.
It might be a full spawn event though.
It'd be
Could
a
be,
fun spawn
yeah.
lake because it's all sand.
I wouldn't be surprised if they spawn right out in the freaking middle. It's so shallow.
Yeah, it's so shallow. They probably-
Especially if it is clear.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it was clear when we were there. So that I mean, I don't know if they were there after a storm or something, maybe, but we didn't really look for grass. But there was grass around the docks we fished. There's just everything was sand. Like there really wasn't anywhere for grass to grow.
Roanoke River. Is that what
he's
he's
Fisher Grass Lake, Roanoke Rapids Lake?
Roanoke,
I
yeah.
heard, yeah, but they're hard to catch now, aren't they, Trevor? I know you spent quite a bit of time on there. I've heard it's a grass lake, but it's like a super frustrating lake to fish.
I heard that's the lake that the old timers love the most is that lake right there because there are some really, really good bass in there. There's some really good striper in there too.
It was crystal clear last month when we were there.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna hopefully it's we get warm weather. I can just go sight fishing.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go.
You should be able to.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, Trey and I were there. It was in the summer, and it was clear when we were there. It was actually super high too, because it was when everything was really high because of all the rain.
Yep.
Christine's looking forward to breaking in their new cashing in North Carolina. Heck yeah.
Well, we'll put her on her. We'll put her on them like for sure. That's going to be a spawn deal. So
yeah,
just go shallow.
you'll be able to just, especially on Harris, just go around with a wacky rig and you'll freaking whack them.
Yep,
That lake's a lot of fun. Spawn, post spawn,
for sure.
like
Just
ton of fun.
just put my fish back in the lake, please.
Yeah, there's a slot limit until hopefully I'm going to reach out because I haven't seen if that passed or not.
Yeah.
For those of you who are on, I don't think we talked about it last week. North Carolina, I went on a rant a few lives ago about how they had this 90-day rule for rant permits, and it was basically screwing us anglers and everybody that was paying to help keep that stuff up. Silently behind the scenes, they got so many complaints that they have repealed that rule. So there's no longer the 90-day rule in North Carolina. They didn't put out a big announcement or anything, but our club now has our permits for the rest of the year, and that's what he was told. She said the lady that they talked to said we had so many complaints, so we decided to roll that back. So it didn't make it 3 months, and that was gone. So that's good news. So voices, loud voices can be heard.
Mm-hmm.
Fishermen, anglers reached out to let them know how we felt about it, and Jeff, it is on the docket to remove the slot limit from Harris.
It needs to happen.
Complete credit for that. We are taking credit for that because we had Corey Oakley here and we told them that they need to get rid of it. And then suddenly it was on there. They have tried several times in the past, but it's always gotten turned down because of anglers being upset about it. My understanding from when I talked to Corey at Raleigh and asked about it was the support was overwhelming to remove that slot limit.
Yeah.
So I suspect we'll see that fall. And that'll really help that fishery. We'll start to get some folks.
Yeah, I mean, Harris isn't a lake fork. They tried to make it used to be
when there was grass. Yeah.
It used to be, but when the habitat died, it's really hard to forecast like what the population's going to do. But now the growth has been stunted significantly and overpopulated with 2 and 3 pound fish. That's why you always catch all those that Eddie talked about in the slot. He caught 3 to 4 fish or whatever today using a jackhammer. But if they remove the slot, then that means that some fish will get culled out. But we are so daggum good with our fish conservation now, and people don't eat bass as much as they used to. I don't know if it's actually going to have an effect. The only thing it'll have a real good effect on is tournaments. for sure.
So what are your guys' thoughts on this is Trevor again? What are your guys' thoughts on MLF fishing show?
I think it's awesome.
I can't wait.
I love it and I hate it. As a
love
guy
it.
that fishes down there a bunch, I hate it because it's kind of a secret deal down there. Like a lot of
But
folks
it grows
don't
the
go down
sport,
there.
Pete.
And that's what I'm saying. Like as an angler on the other side of things, it's going to open up some fisheries to folks.
And it's going to show out. Now,
Um,
what's fortunate for us,
We say that. I'm not going to say it's 100% going to show up because
it's going to show. Those guys,
17th
the
century.
right
boat.
storm comes through and everything, it'll destroy that fishery overnight. Or a drought will really change that whole fishery. But they're going to catch fish. I mean, the biggest thing with that, why I'm not as concerned about the pressure and everything, like we saw Harris and Jordan get after they were here and caught all those mega bags and falls.
there's a lot of water.
There's a lot of water. Chelsea, it'll be entertaining
And
if they
there ain't-
broadcast it.
There isn't.
You just won't be able to see the first 2 days.
There isn't anything around it.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah,
really.
there's no infrastructure, so there's really no hotels. There's really no Airbnbs. There's a couple little hotels, and they do cater to anglers, but they're like 20 room places. So there's not a ton of infrastructure for a lot of people to come in and visit. There's no cell phone service on half of it. They're going to tear some boats up because it is a super dangerous place. I mean, people with 10s and 20s and 30s years of experience on there
Still lose lower. units.
lower units, still get life flighted because they put their I hope they lock up, still get life flighted because they put their motor on their laps while they're running. It's constantly changing.
Thanks, Tim.
There's no good boat. I guess there's one boat launch.
Those chillin' hotels are
Those
off.
chill hotels are awesome.
I don't know.
Now, what I hope
I
they
don't know
don't.
if awesome's the word, Jeff, but
So,
I mean, they're there.
So my club used to put it at a Hosky, which is like 45 minutes from Edenton.
Yeah.
And there was nothing. I mean,
You got to go to
Podunk
what's the
one.
town?
the second year I went, I actually stayed like 30, 40 minutes like off 95 at like Roanoke Rapids or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I
Stay at a
want
Holiday Inn.
I
There's
want
the
a nice hotel
Yeah.
or a decent hotel. And it's only a 30-minute drive.
Bro,
so-
you just got to get that air mattress from Amazon that blows up in the back of your truck, fills your whole cavity up. Sleep on that. That way you can guard your boat and stuff. Or just sleep in the back like Hal
We're-
Abshire does.
We're very spoiled because we got a couple buddies that have a cabin right there on the Roanoke system, and we can stay. Well, they I don't know if they still have
He's
their own.
staying on Saturday.
I bet it
bet
is.
it is.
Yeah, I bet it is quite the place on a Saturday.
PBRs and Marlboro Reds, baby.
And meth. Don't forget the meth. Yeah, so I'm excited, Trevor. It's gonna be cool because they're gonna unlock some stuff that not everybody knows. It's gonna be one in the sound. I almost guarantee. I'm gonna call it right now. Like whoever figures this sound out
The
is gonna
Kashai.
win that. No, definitely not the Kashai. It could be. But I don't think you're gonna catch the fish there. But it's gonna be one in the sound. They're gonna figure that out. That's where most of the big tournaments are won, is out there in the sound. So it'll be cool to see how they break that down. But I say that I caveat. There's one river there where they could potentially win it in June, and that's the Alligator. Now they're putting into the Alligator's an hour and some change boat ride, but there's no way in. So
Right.
a lot of guys will run to the Alligator.
So Jacob Wheeler doesn't have to worry about being late.
A lot of guys will run to the Alligator. Absolutely, Robert. That's where I'm going. A lot of guys in tournaments will run to the Alligator, catch a 30+ pound bag. The wind will shift, and you cannot get back to where you put in because that sound, when the wind picks up, is one of the most dangerous places in the world. It'll go from flat, calm, nothing to 5 foot stacked on top of each other where you can't run a boat across it safely in a matter of minutes if the wind changes. So the advantage to MLF is they don't have to make it back for a weigh-in. When they're done fishing, it can take them all night to get back. They can have somebody come pick them up at a different ramp. So that's the one river down there where I think somebody could potentially win it if they figure it out. If they don't get lost or destroy their boat.
They may win. They may run it in a boat they don't pay for. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
most of the guys pay for their boats, but let's be honest. Like
that's
sometimes they put
I
those
wish
boats.
Coach Shea
to the
was
test.
running that little boat. And that. You get some,
is he run? I thought he was this year. No,
No, he's running his big boat.
is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's running his
So
21 footer.
he folded on that deal.
Yeah.
Trevor said the nightlife is epic down there. Yeah.
Yeah,
What's the Plymouth? Some epic nightlife in Plymouth.
yeah. I'm gonna put my Dickies on and my work boots. I'm gonna go down there and party. You know what I mean?
MLF won't stay only in show one. Yeah, no, Jeff, that's what I was saying. They're going to be everywhere. Like I said, I think the sound will be the biggest thing. I'm taking side bets on how many lower units. Yep, I've been saying, Jeff, since they announced it, if you got a little bit of extra money laying around, go buy you a lower for one of these 250 motors
And just sit at
go
the ramp.
camp at the ramp. You probably make your money back and some.
Camp at the ramp with the lower,
Uh,
and then party in a Hosky, right?
That's right. Then you can go to Hosky and stay. What's that motel? The Indian or something it's called. Go stay at the Indian in a Hosky and drink some PBR, smoke some meth, and have a good time. I do not condone meth smoking, by the way. That was a joke.
All right, before we wrap it up, we're over an hour into this. So, hey guys, we talked about it before the giveaway and stuff like that. So please go. So please go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, whatever. Leave a review, take a snapshot of that, and DM it to us so that you guys can enter into the giveaway that we're going to start at the end of March, and that'll run for 5 months consecutively. I think Ben just pulled out a giant Plano Edge box.
Yeah,
full of jigs.
Full of jigs. That's one of the prizes.
So that's going to be part of one of the prizes. So, make sure you do that. Don't miss the opportunity to get some free stuff, and free based on all the help from all of our partners and friends, all that good stuff. So make sure you guys do that.
Trey,
enter into that and win some cool stuff.
You may not get that Edge box because Trey's been drooling since he showed up. So it may show up in a plane.
I got all the cheap boxes. I'm gonna order some. I'm gonna order some better boxes.
So that'll be. I don't remember. We have it broken down month by month. Month 1, which will be the last fishing Friday of March, we're giving away a Cashin Icon chatterbait rod and a prize pack of bladed jigs from One Cast Fishing. So if you haven't done it yet, I have my list. iTunes, Spotify, like Trey said, wherever you listen to us, go leave a review. If you're a YouTube person, you just watch us on YouTube, just go to one of our episodes. I know you can't leave it. So subscribe to the YouTube channel and leave a comment. And then screenshot that and send it to any of our either personal socials or to any of the One Cast, not One Cast Fishing, because his box get blown up with all the business stuff. The One Cast, you can look at it on any of the social media. So we have a TikTok that I post some of our reels to, Instagram, Facebook. Look us up on those, and then you can send that screenshot there. I'll get your name on the list. Chelsea Wolfshinder can win, or we know it's rigged. Yeah, I know she's not eligible. We do have a nepotism rule. I didn't tell her that, so yeah. I'm probably not going to get dinner when I get home. But, but yeah. So go on there, leave a review. If it's like on Spotify where you can't leave a review, or you can leave stars on Spotify.
You can leave stars.
Yep.
You don't have to write a review. Leave the stars. Send us a picture of that. If you do it on Apple. And we want y'all to be real. Like, if you don't think we're a 5-star, don't give us 5 stars just to give us 5 stars. We're not asking for 5-star reviews. We want real reviews. So leave us one. If you do it on Apple, leave a comment with your review so we know what we are or aren't. Your dad can win. What's up, Pops? Yeah, if you can figure out how to leave a review, you can. Yeah.
He's already got a whole box.
Yeah, you already got a whole button. Yeah. So I'll pick mine up in person at the end of April. Okay, if we draw your name, Christine, we'll hold your prize for sure. And I already talked to David. We're gonna set it up so y'all can come check out the podcast room when you're here, see where the magic happens. But yeah, leave those reviews. That helps us big time. And like I said, be honest with us. There's a 1-star review right now on Apple, and they did not leave any.
It's driving Pete nuts.
And it is driving me absolutely insane because I want to know.
It's probably Mike Johns.
It probably was. I want to know what we can do better. We all do. It's not just me. Yeah. I say I, but when I say I mean we as the podcast. We need to know what we're doing good, what we're not doing good, what you'd like to see us do better, not do anymore, all that kind of stuff. So make sure you do that.
It was probably just someone who's a co-angler and loves co-anglers.
It's probably because
some of the other, or it could be because the way I say Sabine to make people mad. Some Texan down there is mad. Some of the other prizes include Hobie Eyewear. You'll get the choice of Hobie Eyewear glasses from Hobie. They threw in. There's the 1 star from Chelsea. Hobie Eyewear. We have Carolina Waters prize pack. We've got the Plano Edge. They saw there full of jigs. Swamp Fox Custom sent some prize packs that included some hard baits, spinner baits, buzz baits, soft plastics of your choice. We've got a Lowrance fish finder. We've got missile baits that we're going to be throwing in there as well. They sent down for us. So we got a bunch of cool stuff. Again, every month we'll announce what that prize pack is going to be. You only need to enter once. So if you've already entered, your name is their half-star option. If you figure it out, Cody, I mean, let's go for it.
Well, now we know who it is, Cody.
Yeah, now at least I know who it is and whose inbox to blow up. So all those prize packs, enter one time. It'll put you in for the duration. We'll draw that randomly on our live. And then some of those partners, grand prize should be a fishing trip with Pete to the river. Trevor, I will take you to the river. You've just got to take me to your lake before April 12th and teach us how to catch them giants on there. So, yeah, we can go to the river anytime. Anybody that ever that's in North Carolina wants to fish with me, shoot me a message and we'll figure it out.
Shoot me a message because I fish more than both of these guys. So
I'm pretty, because you do. But
Ben lives on a lake, but he's too daggone busy.
But fishes twice a year. So hit us up.
That's not going to happen this next year.
I think everyone should give 5 stars to see Trey and his.
Bro.
Yeah.
I will wear that in one of my tournaments this year, Larry. And if I zero, I'm coming after you, dude.
The Jacob Wheeler autographed shirt. Trey, please take me fishing. That's
done.
Chelsea. Yeah.
Done, Chelsea.
So yeah, we appreciate everybody's support. We appreciate everything that we've been doing. Everything that y'all have done for us. We continue to grow, continue to get this thing. Downloads keep going up. We keep trying to do a bunch of cool stuff and bring you different things. We've got some really cool things lined up. We've got one of the bass tank companies that does all of the tanks at these big shows. We got them guys coming on here in a couple weeks to talk about that part of the industry, something super cool that I don't think we know a lot about. We've all seen them, watched the demos at the shows. They're going to talk about that. We've got some more MPFL guys lined up. We've got Seth Miko, who is the local biologist for the state of North Carolina that covers the Piedmonts of all of our local lakes that we all love. Those are his lakes. He's going to come on and talk about what's going on. And I can't remember what else, but we've got some cool guests lined up.
Take a Warrior Fishing.
Take a Warrior Fishing. They're coming on. They have an awesome charity that they've got going and looking for boaters. So if you're in North Carolina and you're willing to take a veteran out free of charge on your boat to fish, you don't have to talk about anything related to anything. Just get them out in the outdoors. They have a sign up thing on their website. So if you Google Take a Warrior Fishing, it'll take you to their website, sign up and do that. Also go vote on their jersey. They have a jersey thing up there with like 5 choices. Go vote on that. Whichever one wins is what they're going to use for this year. And their goal is to provide one of those jerseys to every veteran at their culminating event, which is in
November
on
Sharon Harris.
Yeah, it's the first weekend in November on Sharon Harris. Because
it's not even a tournament. It's just take a
veteran fishing. They're calling it, I think, a fun tournament. But it's April 2nd or November 2nd. And then November 9th is the Special Operations Bass Anglers Tournament. So
Lake Norman.
You've got 2 really fun opportunities to support those that have done so much for us here in the last history of the United States.
I will throw this out here. So you guys have heard us talk about Heroes Harvest. Next year, I'm going to coordinate kind of something that I did last year with the Piedmont Bass Classics and Backwoods Hunters and Anglers out of Fort Bragg and a couple other people. And we're going to try to put together a big nonprofit organization tournament for veterans as well. So be on the lookout for that. I'll push more information out as I make the plans.
Last one more thing that I got. Trey and I are taking a couple Warriors fishing next weekend.
Yes.
If you are a veteran or know some veterans who you think could use a day out on the water, hit Trey up. We can organize something through Heroes Harvest, through the nonprofit. They don't pay us to do it. Okay. I'm not getting anything. I think we have the option to do the donation form for the fuel and everything. I don't care about that, but it's just easier if we coordinate through them because they'll send some swag potentially for the folks fishing with us. So if you're a veteran, know a veteran in North Carolina right now that could use some time on the water, hit us up. We'll get something set up to get you out. Like I said, Trey and I are running a couple next weekend. I think Sunday we're going to try to go and take a few guys out and hopefully whack some fish. But if nothing else, we're going to have a good time. We're going to talk some smack.
Yeah.
And we're going to go out there and run the boats around Jordan Lake and see what happens.
Cody, appreciate that. And then the same thing applies for Florida and Georgia area. Mike Johns always takes veterans fishing, part of FX3 incorporated initiative too. So, the more we can get people in the outdoors, the better. So that's all I got, guys.
That's all I got. Anybody else have anything?
No.
All right. Well, we appreciate everybody joining tonight. Lots of good conversation. Appreciate y'all understanding. We were getting tired about, or at least I was getting tired talking about the forward phase sonar. I didn't mean to be a jerk, but it's like constant. So I just wanted to talk fishing and not have to talk about all that going on. But You know, it's all part of it. It's all part of us growing this culture of anglers, helping anglers one cast at a time.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Oh God, it's a toad, son. It's a toad, dude.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day.